Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here. And today we are doing a Destash video. And the Destash video is mostly for my thrifties, but there are some items that are going to be for sale in my coffee shop following this video. So it won't be the same day that it goes up, but probably the next day. So I will explain that as I go along. And at the very end, I do have a big Destash kit that is going on my coffee site because it's huge. It's huge. So the last time I made these ephemera, I called them random kits because it is random. There's no guarantee you got exactly everything in here or the same color or whatever. So it's random. I just go eeny, meeny, miny, mo until I'm done. And then I start the next thing. And, I try to make it as fair as possible, but, you won't remember half this stuff unless you go piece by piece when you get it back in your hands. But I don't think any of you will ever do that. So the last time I made them, they were about 50, 60 pieces, I think, the random kits. And this time they are over 100 pieces. And that's because I had some stuff on my desk that I just said, okay, this has to go. I keep moving it. So I just put everything into these kits. And I made extra to sell in the shop, and I will explain all that later. But I'm just taking it out of the box how it came out. And I will, when I do actually put these into your thrifty boxes, I will organize it and, square it off so it looks much more presentable than this. So I had a bunch of cardstock pieces, and again, I was clearing stuff out. So there are cardstock pieces in here. There's some scrapbook papers in here, and that's why it went from 50 to 100. And it's actually about 125, I think, or maybe more. I'm not sure. Only because I had a package of stamps that I gave everybody, and there was at least 25 stamps in there. We'll open it and count it this time around. So a piece of cardstock. There's some tickets. Like I said, it's random right now. A couple pieces of scrapbook paper. There is a label here, a liquor label. These are great to use as a framing piece to put on projects. Cardstock piece. A lovely image here. A game piece, some tickets. Caroline gave me several stacks of these over the last few times, and I have quite a pile, so I figured I'm going to share some just to because I won't make them all, I'm pretty sure. A tag, a little thing for winding thread card. Like I said, this is random. So if you come across pieces like this in your package, you know that this is there somewhere. It just might be messed up in here. So there's another little picture, a couple more images. In this one, there's a coin holder piece. There are a couple of Tim Holtz people. They vary each one. Here's another one of those where I gave you the negative and the positive. And I only counted one when I gave you this. So it's not two pieces. It's actually only one. Wine label, some more images. A little note paper with an image on it. A calendar page from 1976. Love this image of the ship. And on the back side is another building. Yeah, these are from St. John, New Brunswick. A book page, random cardstock, paper, some German text on a very small page, more cardstock, paper and cardstock. These were, like I said, they were on my desk, and I'm going to do that now. I've got, I always end up with piles of odds and bits and pieces, and I keep saying, yeah, I'm going to make stuff. I look at it this way. I put this in your bucket or in your packet, and you can build on it with everything that's in here. So you can take some scrapbook paper, take some images, and in no time at all, you'll have a journal card. There you go. I've given you journal cards. A couple of these I don't want to play with it too much because they are very delicate and intricate. They're butterflies. It's like a little card that you would fold over and the butterflies would pop up. But you could probably take one fold off and just have this like an edge trimmer on a page. You could use it as a topper on something. Very, very pretty. So I gave you two of those. Some Monopoly money. Some old vintage psalms and prayers that are I love the color of the paper of this too. And I just had so many of these, so I gave you those. 2 of these cards. Everyone's different. This one's got a clarinet on here, it looks like. And I think that's a clarinet, or is that a flute? I don't know. It's hard to tell in this picture. To me, it looks more like, well, maybe, no, a clarinet has, I don't know. I didn't play the clarinet or the flute. Anyway, the images are different on each one. There's a glassine envelope here. These held stamps at one time. I didn't get them with the stamps in them, but, you know, I had a bunch of them. Another little piece of cardstock. And I made sure the colors varied. Here's another one of those glassine bags. A clamshell greeting card, which is fun to put in an ocean book, and the envelope that went with it, because I figured, you know what, we can always use envelopes. Piece of embossed paper. Love this. Love this print. I think I did this on some watercolor paper. It's very nice, nice paper. An index card, like a Rolodex type index card. A photo of a large image of flowers. Here's the stamps. We'll get into that in a second. An airmail envelope, a game piece, a piece of half-baked artist trading card. A couple more playing cards. Oh, look at that. Both of them are the number 6. Didn't plan that. A couple of laminated flowers. Some mini, these are French to English dictionary, or not, translation words, how to translate them. Somebody got many pieces of ephemera in this box. Couldn't resist. These were, I had got a huge stack of these. I think they were, somebody was making bookmarks, and they had stickers or something glued down on each one. So I just, you know, random pick. Here's another embossed paper. A receipt, and here it's got 2 pages. A postcard, another postcard. This one's blank on the back. These again, this one's very nice. This is from 1948. It's a chateau in Ontario. Chateau Woodland. I can't read where it's from in Ontario. Maybe it says on this side. No. This one is, yeah, 1948. And it's written, it's got the original 3-cent stamp on it. Cool. And then this one is blank. So something like this, if you don't like the picture, you can always build on top of it and have this as the writing space on the back. Flower cards, because I have millions of these. So I've got to squeeze one in wherever I can. And this was another thing that was on my desk, because I was showing these on my desk. And so I had a pile sitting there, and I thought, okay, well, I got to go way over there to put them away, or I can put them in the ephemera box of random ephemera to gift out or to share out. And so that's what happened. So I keep a box, because sometimes, you know, maybe I'm working with some images and I have a couple pieces left over. They go in that box, and the idea is that I'm supposed to file them, but now it's become the ephemera box for random ephemera that I use to create these kits with. And that's working out pretty good, actually. So this, I did go through some of my book pages. This is some German script, very old script. Love the color of these pages. So you can make easily some nice master boards on here. This is some ephemera that I got recently from Panda Hall. So I added some of those pieces into each of these kits, because I got 3 big packages of them. So I thought I would share a little bit. What do you call it? A stencil. Oh, too bad. Sandra, this would have been good for you. 1944, December 31st, 1944, pay stub. Let's see, what did he earn? He earned, his net earnings were $69.55. Woohoo! Started out with $88.71, and he had to pay something for $8.40. And I guess must be union dues maybe. And then his unemployment insurance was 78 cents. His pension was $2.66, and his income tax was $5.32. Just too funny. A handwritten diary page. Another vintage receipt, and that's the two-part because I don't put them in with the carbon like that. I leave it attached to the back so you don't get carbon on anything. There was a while back I was making some little collage booklets with this, using up my scrap papers, and I made probably about 50 of these. It's a whole page of receipts, and all I did was I accordion folded it and cut it into tag shape with the idea that you can decorate on the one side and then write on the other side. That was the plan. I did a few of them, but now you're getting the rest to do. Another game piece. And a couple more pieces of ephemera here. This is another German script book. Love the colors on this one too. Some vintage music sheet. Now this, I believe, was 1800s here. The book itself was in the 1800s. 1890 maybe. Some cookbook pages. These are fun. Very retro. Love the colors on the top. Just a matching page, and you can make butter tarts in this kit. You can make butter tarts, coconut jam tarts, walnut butter tarts, and raisin pie. I love pie. Some authentic Russian ruples. This is Russian money, real Russian money. Some Ukrainian. These are bus tickets. Everybody got some of those. This is an authentic 1928 cancel check, or promissory notice, some people call them, made out to All's Good Grocery for $5. Can't read the name. That was wrote or signed the check, and it was cashed on November 21st, 1948, paid through Clearing House. Central National Bank. So yeah, everybody got at least one of those, and I can't guarantee which date or whatever, but they're all in the early 1900s. So this is 1928. 1928 is up for public domain in January. So yeah, if you printed a bunch of these, in fact, I think this looks like it's written in pencil actually. So you could probably just erase the names if you don't want and have blank ones. It's up for public domain anyway, and it is what is real considered real ephemera, and ephemera means short-lived paper is what ephemera means. So I'm sure you can use it. I gave everybody some photos. I don't know which ones you got. This one says Our Leaders, and this one's from 1957. It does come out of the little Deweys here, but I just left it. I thought, yeah, some people like this stuff. If you put it in a journal, you can even no, I'm stuck here. Oh, sure. Don't play with things, Kim, because then you got to fix it. Okay, put it back. But, now on the other side I had troubles, but I don't think I had that photo. That would have been a good one. But you could easily put a piece of white paper on here and turn it into a writing space. So it would be like a little journal card. A couple of envelopes. This one's from 2002. They have the stamp, the cancellation. They're good to add into your journals. You can collage over top. Again, you've got all the stuff here to do it. So if you don't like what it says, you can collage over top and change it. Make it into a mini masterboard. This one is 1981. Love this U.S. Eagle stamp. And again, you don't have to keep it the way it is, but you can certainly change it. It's open. Some of them have, not this one in particular, but some of them have like a coupon inside, I think, or something, a form that they filled out. I think wherever I got these from, they got just stacks that came to some company, and they left the information in and got rid of all the envelopes. So you might have one that has stuff in it. Nothing really exciting. Another photograph. Here it's a couple of dudes hanging out. Always looks so funny, eh? It makes you want to write your own captions for stuff like this. Like, what's for lunch? An authentic business bingo card. These again can be cut up into strips to use to make tags or charms. You can cut them in little circles or squares, however you like. Some more vintage book pages. This was from an antiques book. This one has a date page from 1952. So it's showing October, November, December. These are fun to, if you don't want to use it as a page, you could cut these out and use those as individual little pieces of ephemera. Same with this, just by gluing it down to some cardstock and cutting it out to make some charms. You can also use this to back that black paper photograph paper and have a writing space on the back. And then, of course, numbers are always great, and you can use those to trim a page. Or you could keep the whole thing intact and use it as it is. And this is a little booklet. I have no clue what language. To me, it looks like it could be German. And it's just a little pamphlet of some kind. It is, I think, religious content. But, the pages are nice. This is a little booklet that you can play around and collage on and turn into something you can put in your journals. And then this is just a little handmade tag by myself. Framed. I showed a little tutorial how to do these to make them really quick and easy, and so I just added that into the pile because they were all sitting on my desk and I conveniently had 12 of them. So there we go. I made 12 kits. So this, and then it comes with this. So this is probably like, if you really wanted to count it and say it was 99, it might be 99, it might be more. I just, I didn't really count everything. I just kind of said, one, and then handed them out. And then sometimes I wasn't sure if I was at 16 or 17. So I called it 16. It might've been 17. And then I just kept counting. So yeah, you don't know. I mean, if you want to physically sit there and count them, be my guest, but I know you got over 100, and that's what I'm stating. So this has got at least 25 stamps, and they are all, I want to find something blank here that I can put them on so you can see them better. They are all vintage stamps, canceled stamps, and some of them are old. And they can be American, Canadian. I think this one looks like it's all American. But I know I made all kinds, so I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like there's 25 here. There's a little Christmas stamp with Santa on it. Everyone's different. 5, so it's 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, I don't know if that's 14 and 15. We'll try it that way. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, coming 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Well, obviously I can't do math. I probably counted this as 1, so that would make it 26. And unless I missed something here while I was doing this, I'm sure you'll tell me. Then for sure there's at least 25 and maybe more. So that just shows you the kind of things that are in here. So thrifties, if you want a kit, just say random kit, and you will get one. Not necessarily this one, but you will get one. And it will be equally the same but different. So it'll have a few pieces of design stuff in there, and then lots of vintage stuff. And like the Russian rubles and the, some of the canceled checks and postcards and stuff, they're authentic and, certainly worth putting into your journals. And then the rest can be used for collage and mixed media and creation. So that's the random kit. So if you want one, please do leave a comment below that you want one of these. And if you are interested in purchasing one of these, they will be available in my store, my coffee store, starting probably tomorrow. So I'm going to put this aside. You know what? I'm going to just, take the time to put this in here. Otherwise, I've got so many things teetering on my ironing board behind me that I'm going to have an avalanche. There's no place to iron anymore. Okay, so this next one I haven't packaged yet. And it is a sewing kit. So I had this vintage scrapbook that was all on sewing and patterns. And so they're on this side as well as this side. You know, if you're careful, you can dampen it and try and take them off or pick your favorite. But I just gave you the whole page because there's so much awesome material on these things. So each kit has 3 pages of these patterns that were I think they offered them in the newspaper because this is Free Press Weekly Patterns, so it must have been in definitely in Manitoba's newspaper back in the day. And I don't have a date on them, but you know, you can kind of tell. And then some of them, not all pages, but some of them have a little thing tucked in here where they've got these where you can order the patterns. So they're tucked into the page, but I can't guarantee that everyone has one. It's just hit and miss. So if you got them, great. If not, sorry. So there's 3 pages of that. And then I gave you 4 pages out of a more retro style of book that I had, and just some fun pieces that you can add in. Some of them are how-to, some are actual patterns. It's a mix mash of stuff. But again, if you're doing a sewing journal, these are the kinds of things that are not easy to find. You know, you've got your classic pictures of sewing machines and thread and spools and all that kind of stuff, but it's the ephemera that you want to go with it. So here is some of that content. And then I gave you a sewing pattern, not necessarily in sewing order, that you can actually use it. Maybe if you're lucky, I'm not sure. But the whole idea was to have the envelope to create with. Like I like using these envelopes the way they are, and then making it like a little pouch that you put inside your journal, or folding it up in half and using it that way, or the long way, however you like. But you know, there's also the pattern paper that goes with it. And again, some of these are cut out and used. Some of them are brand new. Some of them don't even belong in this pattern. They belong from somebody else. But the pattern paper is fabulous tissue if you don't have any to use for collage. And the color is excellent as well. And then there's this little instruction booklet. I believe there should be one in every one. But again, it's no guarantees, but you'll get something. You know, I try to make it as fair as possible. And so if you're missing something, I'm sorry, but you know, you might have gotten something else that the other person didn't get. Does that make sense? It's the best I could do. And so the patterns can be used up for something as well, or, you know, cut into individual sheets, master boards. There's a lot of material here to use, and so would be great for a sewing journal. So you got one of those patterns. And then I gave everybody 2 of these Aunt Martha hot iron transfer packages. Some of them don't have much in them. Some of them don't have the right things in them. When I pick these up, I pick up lots of them, like not like lots, like I pick up whole batches. I pick up batches of them. That's what I mean when I'm saying lot. And yeah, and there's lots. So some of them I can't guarantee if they've been used or not. Sometimes people cut them out and then they re-ink them with ink and then draw them on that way. Some of them are still in full page, like this one. I don't think it's ever been used. I don't know if it's good enough to use. You can try it and see. The envelopes, often they need a little bit of TLC to repair them, but they're usually all there. I always find that the envelope is there. It's just the way they tore it open. I don't get it, how people do that. But usually what I do is I make an effort to repair them. I take the time and put them all back together by putting a piece of paper on the inside and then gluing the pieces back and forth to the right spot. It's you know, it's intense to do sometimes, but it's fun when you get the finished results. And then you have a nice little journaling pocket that you can add onto your journals. So I gave everybody 2 of them, and there's no guarantee again with patterns, which pattern, this one happens to have, it's called Kids Number Sampler. So it's got a little bit of different farm animals, and this one's got puppies, but they are all cutesy things and different. Inside they have instructions of how to use the pattern. That too, if you want to open this up and to turn it into 2 pieces, great way to add things into your journal. So there's that. And then I gave you these things that have like eyelets. Yeah, they're missing stuff. This is used goods from, you know, some of them are dated. I gave them to you with the idea that you can add them into your journals. You see there's a missing spot here. Put a label on it. That's my new thing now. Put a label on it, right? If you like it, put a label on it. Oh. So I'm going to get you singing that song yet. So yeah, you got 2 of these to add into journals to tuck them in. And then I think I showed you these on my thrifty thing. They were all torn up in different bits and pieces. So you will get a 6-pack, but you know, it might be from 4 different bunches because most of them were, this is what I would consider a good one where there's 4 and 2. Sometimes they're all 1, 1, and 1. So, you know, you may get this part or may not, I don't know, but they're great because they're perforated here. So they're meant to tear off. And so, you know, a little one like this would make a great tab or a great cluster if you mix it with other things, or you can actually take these off and use them and then use the papers afterwards. So you got enough, you got 6 altogether in the package, no matter what, but you know, I don't guarantee what 6 you got. So there's that. And then, you know, because it's time for me to let go, every package gets 6 packages of buttons. There might be the odd one, missing one, but most of them, I tried to give you all of them. Prices are on here. If you don't like it, put a label on it. And so you've got 6 different sets of buttons on here to play with. So that's that kit. So if you want the sewing kit, say sewing kit, and I will add this to your box. This is just for my thrifties. If I have a couple of thrifties that don't take them in a couple of weeks, I will put them up for sale in my coffee shop. But they still do get first dibs on them ahead of time, you know, at least for a couple of weeks, so that they can decide if they want a second one. And in a second one, again, sorry, I think the camera cut out in mid-sentence there. I was saying that if the thrifties do take a second one, same products but different mix. So either way, they can let me know after everybody's had a chance to at least get one, because I only made 6 kits. And yes, I have 6 thrifties on the go right now. So before I show you the next one, I wanted to talk about, this was, when I did my Thrifty Canucks video, I showed you all those, the curtain and the sheets that I got, and I was going to cut them up. And so they're all done now. I just have to put the dangles on, but I haven't finished making them upstairs. and then once they're done, I'll put them on. Before they go in your box, they'll be on. So I just want to give you an idea, like, so in a kit, like when I said the polka dots, you would get a piece of fabric, that you can use for a journal or journal liner or whatever. And then, you know, the matching shabby ribbon, and the shabby ribbon is just the fabric cut in the same direction, to give me the best length that I could get for you. So, after I had cut all of these up, because I did all the rose, the rose sheets and that rose pillowcase and the blue sheet and this one, then I was watching a couple of videos downstairs here, and I figured, you know, I'm going to grab I had a couple of dresses to take apart, and I figured I'm going to grab them and do them while I'm watching videos, because I don't like to just sit. I have to be doing something. And so I grabbed this dress and I cut off all the beautiful trim off the dress, and it had a tulle over top of the skirt on the outside. That's where the trim was. And so I cut all of that off. And then I was left with the skirt. And I cannot make this stuff up. So when I was finished with the skirt, this was the fabric that was on the underneath side of the like underneath the tulle. And so when you looked at the skirt, you just sort of saw it. You didn't really fully see it. So I cannot believe, including the black polka dots, how well this matches. I mean, the only thing it doesn't have is yellow, but it has all the other colors. So I did cut a set of 3 of these to put in everybody's kit. I have a few extra cut here just to show you. But so if you took this ribbon, I did automatically just put one of these in there for you, because you can take these individually or use it as a whole, or, you know, however you like. And then like, I think it's supposed to be a little bit more rounder. Well, it's kind of oval. I don't know. But then you could put sequins in there or beads in there. So you could further dress this up to make a little applique that you put on top. So if you ordered the ribbon and fabric with the polka dots, you definitely got one of these on top of it. So there you go. Just thought I would tell you that before I put this away. Or not put it away, go put the beads on them and then put them in your boxes. So my next kit, I gotta reach for it here. Oh, here it is. This is what I call a junk drawer starter kit. So if you don't want to use this for your art, although it is great for mixed media, you can certainly use this. Now I need a container to put all this into. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. No, I'll just use it like that. Got another container here. So if you don't want to use it for your art, you can certainly use this. If you've got a child moving out, you can give them a junk drawer starter kit. And this is made up of about 50 pieces. Again, it's always a couple of extra pieces. And it's just a variety of fun bits and bobs to use for your journals. And it does take on kind of a masculine, although there are some feminine type things in here too. But it does take on more of a masculine look. Now, before this rolls away on me, there's a marble. I don't know which kind you got. There's 2 of them. These are actual vintage gaskets for automobiles. So, you know, it's put in between two pieces of metal and squished together. And so it just is like a seal. So you've got 2 of these. They are great for steampunk. They're great for framing things. You can further enhance it by putting some large brads on there, or, you know, or some other type of thing like a marble, but different things. So fun frames for steampunk or for a vintage masculine journal. There are some milk caps or pods, as they call them, or pogs. Yeah, pogs, right? So there's different kinds. Not all of them have the same thing. I think maybe everybody has one of these. I can't remember. If not, then you got one like this. But they're also great to use in your journal. They're great for tabs. They're great for embellishments, fun stuff. Some game pieces. I have this style and this style. So if you're doing a journal where you want some different, I have a domino here. Dominoes are great to decorate on as well. There's a Scrabble tile. I think there's a couple. There's different types of Scrabble tiles that I had. I think that's, oh, well, if we find another, oh yeah, there's this little, very hard card. So great for making embellishments as well. A button. There must be, oh, here's another button. Yeah, I gave you a couple of everything. A bullet. These are really pretty if you want to attach this on your journal, you know, maybe towards the end or on the edge of a page, or like sort of like a tab, like you can wire it onto your page, or to use on the front. And I like to put notes in them. So you could have like a secret message in here that you can pop out. Like you'd have to put a tab on it and pull it out. So it's great for that. And again, masculine journal. So if you have a hunter in the family, this would be kind of fun to put on there. So just to give you some different ideas. A piece of a ruler, great for doing yearbook type journals and schools. Some more game pieces. There's a small checker and a real authentic bingo game marker thing. There's also a couple of checkers here I just saw. So there, yeah, I knew there was some. And these are all old vintage wooden checkers. There's some brass stamping pieces. Great, again, to drill a hole in them. You know, create your own trinkets by adding things on here that are related to what you're doing. A couple of little washery type things. There's a magnet. You know, it's random. It's fun. All the kits are pretty much the same, except, you know, if there's a design element, it might be different. Piece of wood, great to, again, make a sign, put it on the front of a journal. So it's just to create things that are, you know, not everybody has masculine stuff. And I know Anne really liked the idea, and she said it was hard to find masculine stuff. If you haven't watched Anne's video of her unboxing, it was a lot of fun. I got a lot of ideas from her of other things to showcase and give to you guys. This is a real clothes peg from the day, vintage. A cowbell in case you need one for a journal, and it says New Brunswick Sheep Fair and they're copper. This is one of those little dewies that you open up, you know, you put the back prong through your paper and then use this to hold all your papers together. I did do a little mini video tutorial using these a long time ago. Time to revisit that. I've got lots of these, so I'll revisit it. A penny, because you might need a penny. There's a couple of, what do they call them? Conchos? Conchos? Yeah. Conchos. It's so great to, again, if you're making a journal, like a Western journal, you might want to use some of these to add some leather strapping and stuff into it. A little brass charm, a little silver charm. This one has the letter, well, it depends on how you look at it. It could be the letter D. It could be the letter P. Yeah. This is from one of those metal steamers that open up like this, and then you put your food in it and close it and then steam it. I take them apart, and I've shown videos doing that. So if you see these, take them apart, because you can dangle this from your journal and all the things that you can weave into here and dangle from here. So you could make a really nice beaded embellishment. I paint these. I flatten them out flat. Like right now they got a curve on them. You can put them in a vise or hammer them out flat and create lots of fun things with them. So you got one of those. A souvenir spoon. This is good to do. I redo the emblems. I take these out and I put a new emblem in, and these are great to add on to a baby journal. It's also, I used to use these a lot when I made artist trading cards. I would wire this to the top of the artist trading card, or to the bottom sometimes. And then I would make a hanger on there as well, so you could actually hang it. And I would do kind of a journal card or an artist trading card that referenced, born with a silver spoon. So it was somebody of, wealth and spoiled. So I did the play on words with the silver spoon, and then of course changed the emblem thing. So if you ever find souvenir spoons out in your travels, they're fun to do that. And if you're very, very careful and slow, you have to do it slowly, you can bend these into a shape where you can dangle it from something. I just as soon wire it up and put beads and stuff and dangle it that way. But again, a great embellishment, and certainly for a baby journal, a great embellishment. Pieces of chain. So this is a bracelet. I think everyone got one of these. I had got a whole stack of them, and you can open them up and hook it onto the front of a journal or on a page, and then dangle things from it. And the mechanisms all work on these, I think. Or you can chop it up and use it how you like, or as a long dangle. This would also be you can't really go through the loops on this, but you can use it long and put things at the bottom. So it's what, about 7-8 inches long. Let's just see. Going end to end here, it is 9 inches long. So you can use it to enhance your journal. You can even use it as a part of a journal closure. You know, if you want to put one end in, you know, make a hole on one part of your journal and then, you know, some kind of a dangly thing on the other, then you can unhook your journal using this little dewey, and that's how you would open your journal and keep it closed otherwise. So that there's some options that way. I hope you guys enjoy these little things that I say. I don't know. This is waiting for you to do some beading on here and make an instant beaded tassel. There's even a little hook on here to put it on your journal. A knob, because, you know, if you aren't one, then you need one. So one way or another, a knob. And it may or may not have a screw to go with it, but these are, I think they're pretty generic screws, so you can use this to screw onto your journal with a short screw in it and use it for opening your journal, which is fun. Or, you know, everybody needs a knob. A couple of bottle caps. You can put pictures in here, make these into charms. Some brads. Now here's where the over 50 comes in, because, you know, I just grabbed a bunch. These are all vintage brads, or paper fasteners, as they used to call them in the day. These are fun to group, you know, several pieces of ephemera together and just clip it, and it's all clipped together and you can tuck it in your journal. So fun pieces there. A watch, whether you use it as a whole, there's some of them will have the parts where you can add things onto it, or you can take it all apart and get the mechanisms out of it. This one's quite pretty, so I would probably use it as an embellishment as it is, and just further enhance it by putting some ribbon or trim or something through the notches here. But not everyone has that same style, but, you know, it depends on what you want to use it for. Some watches are very masculine. Some of them have hairline cracks in the glass to make it look, you know, it has a real crack, but it makes it look even older. Some people you can replace the picture and take all the mechanism out and put an actual picture in there. So lots of fun things you can do with watch parts. Just big old fun dangle. I don't know. This is a Golden Boy pin. Yeah, I used to live in Manitoba. These were on every box of stuff of jewelry that you ever found. I must have had hundreds of these at one time or another. But for those of you who live in other parts of the world or Canada, a Golden Boy is like a little treat. So you have a Golden Boy. A key. Just because. Now, again, you can decorate these. I add, you know, different parts on top of it and turn it into a dangle and use it steampunk, masculine, vintage, however you like. A dog tag. This was from the RM Stewartburn, because I used to live very near there, and they were getting rid of their dog tags, and I said, oh, I'll take those. So a dog tag, because you just never know. And if you have a puppy and you're doing a puppy journal, you might want a dog tag. Another little flat dangly piece that you can embellish on. A key ring. Now it's random which one you got. I had got a whole schwack of these at one time. They are pins put together with beads. Annoying as all get out to take apart. But, you know, if you want the brass pins, that's the way to do it, because there's quite a few on here, 3, 6, 8 altogether. But it is some maneuvering to get them all off and get the beads off. But you can also use it as a whole, as a decoration, or use it for the pins. I got lots of them. And then the last thing that I have in here is a piece of an authentic, this is very antique, one of those really long measuring tapes. So you got 12 inches, and they are marked 1 to 11 plus the 12 is here. They don't actually mark the 12 on this. So you have a 12-inch piece of very vintage measuring tape. This was like like a carpenter's measuring tape in a large roll. And the fun part about this is if you lay it flat in your printer, and if you have a copier on your printer and you lay it flat, you can print these out and use the printed version and just keep this for for that reason, so that you have the original and then use the printed ones for printing. If you're really computer savvy, you can scan this and put 10 on a page and save yourself some time that way. So that is my junk drawer starter kit. It's just bits and bobs. If you want one, please just say junk drawer kit. And if you would like to purchase one, I will not sell them in ones. You will get a set of 2. So whatever you get in this package, you will get a second package of a pretty similar package. And so it will come 100 pieces in the kits that I offer on Coffee. This is a starter pack for my thrifties. But if you do want a 100 pack on to buy, they will be available in my shop starting tomorrow. And thrifties, anybody who doesn't take one of the 6 that is available to you, I will kind of let everybody know, and first dibs can have another one if they choose. So there's that. Yay! And my last, so you're getting lots of stuff today. I was busy this weekend. That's why my video is late today. My last one is an Asian kit. For those of you who took that red fabric, you are going to want this. And if you didn't take the red fabric, it's still there waiting for you if you want to go back and find the video and get the red fabric to go with this. So it is, I think there's about 19 pieces here plus some extras. So you get 2 pieces of this red, which is my favorite. I love this. And each one comes with one of these little, it's very, very thin tissue that is inside that you can turn into a bookmark. So there's 2 of them because you get one in each one. But it is like a little, here, I'll just take it out now. It is like a little placemat. So you can use this in pieces or as a whole or as a signature page like this. And I'm going to stuff that back inside. So there's 2 of those. I don't know what this is, but I love it. So it's just a very handmade paper or, recycled paper of some type. Part of it is painted orange, part is cream color with the foil on it. Great to build on and embellish. There's 2 like this, and they do the same thing. They have this gold, so I don't know, it represents something, but I'm not sure what, but lovely pattern and lovely paper. This glues so easily onto pages, and to make some fun, you can make some really fun tags and journal cards just with this. Some Joss money or hell money, they call it. This is, I have lots of this that I got when I was out and about and found it. And so I usually put some of this in all kinds of kits. This is actually very fun I crumple it up. I don't want to do it to whoever's getting this. You can crumple it yourself. But I crumple it up, flatten it out. Usually I glue a piece of brown paper bag at the back, so it's one-sided. It's like a journal paper, but I crumple it up first and then I glue it down to the paper, ink distress it, and it does end up looking like very, very old money. And on the back side you have a journaling space if you want to journal on them. And then there's more. It's called Hell Money, Hell Notes. Does this one actually say it? Yeah, Hell Bank Note. I think they, in honor of the dead, they burn these hell money to give them money to so they can buy things wherever they are in heaven, or to get out of hell. I don't know exactly, but if you look up Joss paper, that will give you a better idea. JOSS of what it is. But I've given you different. It's so colorful. The denominations, like this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is 1 million. Oh, it says million on here. And this one is $10. So I guess it depends on how much you liked your relatives, whether you gave them lots of money or not. This one is 500 something. I don't know, $500, I guess. Some of them are decorated on the other side, which is very pleasing, and some are not. And I think in this case they all are. So there's lots of that. I think there's 19 pieces here in total when we're done. So this is interesting paper. Don't ask me what it says. It's just beautiful to look at. Can make some fun ephemera pieces with this. You just have to choose a side and a design, I think, and take it from there. You could probably cut this in long strips and use it as page elements. So lots of fun things. And then this is also some vintage book pages. Again, I have no clue what it says. I'm not even sure if it's Chinese or Japanese. That's why I'm saying Asian paper kit. And then I gave you these, and these are fun. And these can also be cut up into pieces. You get 2 sheets of this fun paper. And look at the gold foil in there. Isn't that amazing? So yeah, that is my Asian paper kit. And these are also available in my shop, but with a twist. So there's that part of it. And for my thrifties, I also am including a page of these Asian watercolor pictures. These are a reproduction, of course, and just beautiful to cut out to use as part of the decorations in your journal. There's a set of 9 on that page. And I've printed this on a very thin brochure photo paper. So on the other side, it's matte, which is perfect for gluing. And then this is very shiny, which, you know, gives you that gloss, really pretty. So if you cut these out and glue them to some type of a backing paper, and you can layer them up as well, you can make some really pretty cards that you can tuck in your journal. And this is a page of Asian beauties. I did my best to give you a combination of, you know, sort of Chinese and Japanese, because these are geisha girls. And so there's a combination of both. Just very beautiful images. And again, not much to do with these. You just add a little bit of a backing to them and then your own embellishments, and you're good to go. So that is that. Now, thrifties, if you want it, just say Asian kit, and I will include this in your box. For some of you, this might be the last kits that you can add to your box. I will be reviewing. I haven't put the things from the last thrifty video. I haven't put those in there yet, but you know, depending on what you ask, I think everybody's okay to get all of this stuff in there if you decide to want all of it. And then I will review and let you know where you're at. So maybe you're at the point where your box is pretty close to full, then, you know, we will figure out how to do that from there. And I will give you, because I have so many new people, if you have filled a box, like I think Wanda, you're pretty close, if not already full. You do have the opportunity, if you want to stay on, you can renew, because Anne has just renewed. So if any of those that get packed up want to renew, Ruth renewed, then I will allow you to renew one more time so that we kind of follow the other thrifties. And then after that, you know, I have to take a break when we're done this round. But I do have lots of other Destash areas to cover, and I will go back and visit some other ones as well. I've also talked about the slow stitch kits. They're going to take me a little while to do, because I'm really excited that my thrifties are interested in them, and I had to come up with a way where I could offer them to my thrifties as well as offer them as an item for sale for Destash. Because it's so much work, I have to make extra kits. So that's, you know, in the plans as well. But to work on one color would probably take me a couple of days just to get one color of kit done. And I would like to offer about 5 or 6 different kits. You know, I said 4, but I'm thinking if I'm going to do this, I might as well go big or go home. I am home. But yeah, so I would probably do that towards the end of where you're almost full, and then I would bam hit you with those, and you can decide how you fill your box with them after. So they are going to be fun. I've done a whole formula. I'm ready to go. I'm just excited, but I do have to clear my palette, clear my head, clear everything so that I can, you know, spread out and do that. That's a big job, just as all of these were. But each week I will try to offer different Destash areas and add more kits and interesting papers and things that of stuff I have. And you know, I can do this forever and a day. Like, there's no shortage. You should see the stuff I got this past weekend. That's another story. We'll save that for Thrifty Connects Day. So, I do want to share a couple of things now as a Destash that are items for sale in my shop. The Asian kits will not be available to purchase from my store. However, I have made extra kits. And so if you would like to get an Asian kit, that is flavor of the week. And so if you buy 2 items from my store, because you know you have to buy a minimum of 2. So this is the one that I will give you as a free kit, you know, and so you can let me know, and I will include the photos with it as well so that you have something to play with. So if you purchase from my store this week, you can request this as an add-on for no charge onto your order. Okay. Now I have one very huge Destash sewing kit. It's a vintage mix that I'm offering, and I'm showing it here in this video because there's just so much stuff. I will take a picture of it and then refer back to this video if anybody's interested in buying it. It is huge. So there is a box full of stuff. I didn't really pick how I was going to do this. I just cleared out a ton of stuff. I'm going to take it out of the box, throw it back in, but I will pack it up properly when I'm done. But it is all vintage stuff. Do I have to say more? But no, I should, right? Okay, there are some thread spools I see that are coming undone here. I'm just going to pull that out if I can. I just went through, I cherry-picked a few things for myself, and then I gave buttons to my thrifties. You know, yeah, I kept some as well. But I really wanted to let these things go. They've been piling up in my studio nicely. I'm just moving the thread out of the way because those little threads are, I should have closed them off better. So this is a huge, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, there's the other thread that's driving me crazy. And I will just do a quick review of what's in here. Just moving those threads out of the way. And as I'm going through my studio, if I find more, it's getting added to this thing. Sight unseen. I will add it for your use. Okay. Buttons. This is a stitch counter if you're doing, I guess, knitting and crocheting, and another button loose. Buttons. 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 Snaps. More snaps. A packaged sewing kit unused. Some kind of, oh, these are button covers. Buttons. Buttons, buttons, some metal ones. These are nice. I like these blue ones. I have to be careful so I don't end up taking things out of here. That's why I'm showing this as well, because it's very easy to go, oh, no, maybe not. So 2 buttons there. This is a button and spare button set. I don't know. It's been taped up, so there might be a few pieces missing, but there's lots here. Buttons. Buttons, buttons. These are really cute. They're like little Barbie buttons. A half-eaten hook and eye and loop, but still nice to put in a journal. Here, there's a few snaps missing. They might even be in here. Who knows? I buy a lot of sewing kits, and when I do, I'm just going to show them to you buttons. This comes from Tupperware. Your Tupper, which was no longer around. It was a little sewing kit. That's kind of cute, isn't it? buttons. I used to pick up vintage sewing when I was out thrifting, or if I did estate sales. And then, you know, I used or sold what I wanted. And then all of these kinds of things just went into one big box. These are nice brass buttons. You know what's nice about these is you can use these by... these ones have a shank, so you can put something through so you can hold on to the button better, and then use this to make some wax seals or hot glue seals. You just leave it in the glue until it's dry. I do brush a little bit of oil on these things so that it doesn't stick, but of just a very tiny bit of oil just to not stick to your glue. More of these. But yeah, I used to pick up all kinds of stuff, and then eventually I'd either sell it at garage sales. This is a measuring tape that has both sides, and so this can be cut into pieces to use on your journals, or you know, used as a whole, or put it in your own sewing kit. So here's one. This one's just metric, and I think it's yeah, it's centimeters on both sides. Canadian. A whole Shawaka buttons, green ones. They're vintage. We can see that. Some needles. So do be careful when you open this box. I will try to pack everything reasonably safe. A part package of needles, more snaps, more buttons, more needles. I'm giving you the packages and all because some of you who make sewing journals may want to put one of these right into a journal as part of your ephemera that goes in there, you know, or embellishments. A seam ripper. Love these yellow buttons. Yeah, this is hard to part with. These I could so keep, but no, it's on camera. So now it has to stay in here unless nobody buys it. Then I will redistribute them. But I have no shortage. And these are fun. These garters are fun to put in journals as well when you're doing sewing journals. Here's another thread. I'm going to keep them all separate, and I will bag them. I've got a bag on the table here. So this says DeLong Hook and Eyes. It's a dog's breakfast of, there's some eyelets, there's some snaps, you know, there's a little snap setter here. I just think the box is cute, so you could actually just take the box cover and cut that and make it into a tag, or you could keep it as a whole and just have fun things in there. Buttons, more needles, buttons. There's another button that's fun to use for making brass seal or wax seals. Button. Another measuring tape in green. This one's plastic as well. It's got centimeters on the other side. Great little measuring tape for cutting up to use to embellish your journal. Little pair of scissors. Buttons. This is Evaporated Milk Company sewing kit. Yeah. I don't know. Is that like soap? No, not. I don't know what that is at the back. Maybe you guys remember. Needles, buttons, more snaps. Another pair of garters. Aren't they fun? These are bra and garter accessories. Do you ladies remember wearing garters? I actually remember wearing them. They were to hold up your stockings. And needles. Some of the unique needles are quite current. This is a fun package. It is the Crown Pin Sheet. Best brass pins. This would be nice to put through your printer and print as well. It has all of the pins attached, and these are authentic dressmaker pins, so they would be nice and sharp and work very well. Steel pins, probably. Oh, brass pins. I wonder if they would be good for your glue bottles. I don't use that glue, so I don't care. More snaps. Here again, this would be a fun piece to add into a journal. There is a sewing kit here. Not all of these are complete, but there's enough stuff in this box that you can add into it. Yeah, this is missing the threader, but still it's in really, really good shape. This is made in Czechoslovakia. I just have to let some of this go. I just have way too much. This one's got missing needles as well, and a few extras pinned in here. But this is Lane's Bakeries. A couple of patches that are denim with apples on them. Oh, this would have been good for the denim book. Never thought of that. Another thread. I'll put that aside. Some needles on a piece of felt. And I will package these all well enough and tight enough so that it fits in my postage box. Some more snaps. A couple of containers of rings, and I hope you can see these. They're like little they're little connectors, like a miniature belt buckle, but I think you would use these for like bras and, you know, for straps. A whole container of eyelets and doodads. You know, it's one of those mixes. And here's another one. So yeah, these came from the same sewing box, because sometimes, you know, I would buy whole sewing boxes and fix the sewing box, and then, you know, I had all the bits left over, and I would sell the sewing box. And then needles. Okay, more hook and eye. This is a sewing kit from the Sew What kit. That's kind of cute. The Sew What kit. I don't guarantee these are all intact, but, you know, they're fun to still put in a kit, and you can fill them up with things you want. And it's the idea too. You can make a little sewing kit if you want. That would be a fun thing to do. More needles. I am not even going to open this, but, you know, you could take the needles out. This is a great little package to use for ephemera. Safeway. We're all Canadian. We all know Safeway. And beautiful needle pack. And the needles are all here. Ooh, that's a great needle too. I have no shortage of needles. Buttons. Some are sparkly. Buttons. And this is not all the buttons I have, let me tell you. Oh, green buttons. These are nice. I like these. Ooh. Okay, a mix of buttons and pins and snaps. Another one of those basket sewing kits. Now, what's in this one? Also missing the needle threader and a needle here. And, you know, I think that's the problem, is people use the needle threader and then they forget to put it back in. So there's many that don't have them. And if they do have them, they're broken. More buttons and snaps. More snaps. More snaps. And this is an empty spool. And I have all the spools here, but I'm going to put them in a little baggie so that they're all bobbin threads. This is an older one. It's probably still sealed. It's a paper spool with a whole thing of thread on it. So these I will put in a little baggie so they don't spill out any further. And this is full of buttons. Love the teal box. You know, it's grungy looking, you know, yellowed in spots, but still a nice little box to host some of your better stuff. Or maybe you use it as a little bookbinding box, because I have a box similar to this that I use for all my awls and different needles and stuff that I use for bookbinding. So this would be a great thing to use for that as well. I'll give it a good wash. You know, it's been sitting in a sewing box for so long. So that's the kit, and that will be available on the coffee site probably tomorrow. I just have to do a quick picture of all this and then upload it. And again, if you want to purchase this kit, you can purchase it. But you do have to buy a minimum of 2 things on my site. That's the only way I can make it work for the shipping, because otherwise, you know, it's too expensive. So I reduce the shipping so you don't balk at the price of shipping. It's $15 flat rate, no matter how many things you buy. Something like this you could easily share with a friend. You know, there's very few things that you have to fight over. You even get needle books to match. You know, I put this up knowing that, you know, it's a lot, and you do have to purchase 2 items. I understand that, but it's the only way I can make it work for shipping. And, you know, it's the second item that helps offset the cost of shipping for me. So the first item is the incentive to keep doing this, and the second item pays all my expenses, because I have to do PayPal. You know, I have to pay the shipping difference, because when you add 2, it usually means I have to go to the next level box anyway. And so all these costs incur, you know, PayPal fees, coffee fees, And, both PayPal and Coffee, they take commission off of the shipping costs of $15. That isn't even my full shipping cost. They still take money off of that. So by the time I'm done, I really need that second purchase, which is how I can make it up to you. You're getting a second item and it's helping to pay my expenses. And then, I add on other things as well. And doesn't matter who you are, whether you're ordering, whether you're a thrifty, I'm not going to let half an inch of box be unfilled. So you will always get extra stuff from me no matter what to fill the rest of that box. If I have to cram stuff in, I do. Because I don't want the box going empty, and I have a lot of stuff. So one way or another. And in this case, my offering for this week, flavor of the week, is if you do purchase 2 items from me and I'm shipping your box and you want an Asian kit, I will put it in your box as well. No charge. So that's it. That's all for the video for today. I hope that keeps you going with Destash. For the rest of the week, I do have a new Panda haul lot that just came in the mail. As you know, I'm an affiliate for Panda Haul, so I will be doing some Panda Haul videos. Yay! I finally get to do some creating. I got some fun stuff there. Thrifty Canucks will be on Thursday. I did go to the market on Sunday, and I scored a few good things, so there will be some fun things to show you and possible kits for the weekend. And I'll just keep working on all of this stuff. So that's it. That's all. Thrifties, you have 4 kits you can choose from. You've got the junk drawer kit, the sewing, the Asian, and the random ephemera. Let me know what you want. Have yourself a very creative day and a creative week this week. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.